What's up everyone, welcome back to another live stream. How's everyone doing? Happy Sunday, happy weekend. 15 days away from the end of 2025, so the time flies. I hope you guys are having a positive month of December, and also of course positive year. We are in that phase where, well, it's going to be quite a busy week, the week ahead, and we are going to be talking about all of that. We're going to have the Fed, we're going to have BOJ, we're going to have Bank of England, we're going to have in the UK, we're going to have CPI, we're going to have unemployment as well. So we're going to start already on Monday with manufacturing and services PMI. It's going to be a full week of data and volatility in the market, and that's basically the last week of the year. I don't know many people that actually then trades throughout the Christmas period and New Year's. Sometimes yes, there are some opportunities in there, but usually that's a moment already for reflection, to review the performance and to recharge for 2025. So welcome for this live stream. Most likely it may be the last one in terms of weekly market analysis. Then we may do more. Of course, I'm going to be doing the pre-market analysis throughout the week. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe next week we're going to do a last one. Yeah, so feel free to share your trading ideas. What levels are you looking for? What assets you look for? In here we're going to be looking at the FX indices, the commodities as well, and a little bit of crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And yeah, basically try to identify opportunities for the week ahead, and that's basically what I'm going to be looking for in here. By the way, let me know if the background sound is too loud or not. It'd be great to find out. And if you're new, yeah, feel free to subscribe. So let's take a look into what we can expect for next week, okay? And of course, the biggest catalyst is going to be the Fed, but not only the Fed, because there are going to be more catalysts, more news that are going to affect. And Bank of England and BOJ can be an important one as well. And we'll see. Sometimes, just like it happened this week that just passed by, sometimes the big move doesn't really happen on the day of the event, on the FOMC day. It actually can happen the day after, just like it happened this week with the ECB. The market didn't really move that much on Thursday. It actually then started finally to gain some momentum, a little bit of momentum on the euro on Friday, which actually it was correct basically almost after that. So Monday, manufacturing services PMI in the Eurozone, UK, and in the US, which is going to be important to track, especially in the Eurozone, because the data is not good, especially manufacturing. They have been around this 43, 42, like below 45 for quite a while at this point, and that's a concern. And that's why we have seen Christine Lagarde as well continue to cut rates at the speed that they have been doing in the Eurozone, because they need to create this kind of stimulus, and they need to make it easier for countries, for the companies to actually borrow, ability to borrow money, and to facilitate a little bit more the having access to money. So that's going to be important. Is it going to stay like this? Are you going to see some kind of recovery, or is it going to be even worse? And then the services PMI, which, as you can see in here, is actually still below 50, even in Germany, even in France, and overall in the Eurozone also below 50, right? So that's more of a concern as well in here. And Christine Lagarde mentioned all those aspects or all these factors in the last meeting last Thursday, and that's why maybe the market is even looking for more rate cuts at the beginning of next year, whenever the next meeting is. So that's one of them. And then you can look at that as well in the UK. Services okay, manufacturing has been a problem, and also in the US as well. Of course, something to pay attention. Services in the US is quite strong, manufacturing not so much as well, below 50. And then we continue. We have unemployment in the UK on Tuesday, and CPI in Canada, and retail sales in the US. So more news, more volatility. On Wednesday, then we start with CPI in the UK. So that's going to be quite valid opportunities, or at least volatility across the pound pairs. And euro pound, for example, something that we mentioned last week, it was a potential good opportunity on the pound and euro pound, and there you go. Like yesterday, what a move! Not yesterday, sorry, on Friday, Started already on Thursday, but what a move to the upside that we had in there after DCB, and there's maybe a bit more room to the upside. So we're going to pay attention at the beginning of the week for some opportunities on the pound pairs, and then of course we have the Fed on Wednesday, on the 18th of December, and the expectation is a 25 basis cut. All right, it's basically guaranteed 96%. Those are the odds. So there's not going to be any surprise in this regards. What we're going to start paying attention to is for the projection for next year. And this meeting is special because of that. There are going to be also the economic projections from the Fed, which is going to virtually lead the path towards what the Fed is looking ahead for 2025. And that's something that we need to pay attention to, because one of the main aspects that we had in the last couple of years between these hikes and then when the Fed would start the rate cut, it was a big divergence between what the market was expecting and what the Fed was saying, right? Now everything looks like it's in alignment. There's no surprises in that regard. But now looking ahead, thinking in terms of what we can expect in 2025, that's maybe something that we're going to be paying more attention to. And that's where maybe the market and the Fed may go a little bit in this alignment until eventually we find agreement again, right? So that's going to be the important one, where the Fed sees in terms of the path for the rate cuts, where the Fed sees economy, unemployment, GDP in the US, and so on. And of course, they need to start considering, because in January Trump finally is going to be taking power of the White House, like being finally elected or start this term. So you need to pay attention to also what kind of risks that the Fed is already considering in terms of potential tariffs or whatnot. Is the inflation going to start spike again? Or not, right? So that's something that we need to pay attention to. So yes, we're going to of course be talking about that during the pre-market analysis as well, as we get closer to the Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we're going to have BOJ, which is going to be an interesting one as well. There were a lot of volatility in the yen pairs this week, where there was some commentary from someone, some minister or someone in regards to the Bank of Japan, saying that maybe they are looking ahead for potentially another hike. So BOJ is doing the opposite of the other central bankers, working for another hike in here in the Bank of Japan. And we saw that volatility that occurred. I think it was, I don't remember if it was Thursday or Wednesday, but there was a clear volatility in the morning, a big spike in there. Price already adjusting for those comments. So if they don't hike now, and apparently that's not the projection, they may hike in the next meeting at the beginning of 2025. So that's another one. And then you have BOJ, Bank of England, which is expected to remain the same, 4.75. The economy is not that strong. We actually had a negative month-to-month GDP last week, and yeah, still a little bit of concern as well in terms of inflation. And apparently at this point, the Bank of England is expected to remain the rates unchanged at 4.75, which keeps them kind of one of the central bankers with the highest rate at this point. Then GDP as well in the US, and then on Friday we have Core PCE already. Core PCE this week, all right? It's just to see that usually Core PCE is on the last, basically almost Friday, Thursday of the month, and in this case, yeah, it's still kind of 10 days away from the end of the year, but it's already that. It's just to show that next week, the week after that, Christmas time, basically no one's going to be active looking for trades. So let's take a look into what you can expect in the market. All right, so we have dollar index. Let's just zoom out a little bit in here. And we have been waiting for this level, if you guys recall. Basically, that's what we have been looking for since the beginning of the month. All right, so since we had this high in here, you kind of price was somewhere around this level, not this level. When price actually managed to break below this structure here, if we would have some kind of a double top from this level on the dollar index, right? So price didn't really went there immediately. The price continued to respect some structure in here in the middle, and then made another low being created in there. And now, yes, now price is finally moving there. So basically already have a little bit of a move like this, second low being broken, and now price retracing back into this level. Right now, something that we need to pay attention to, as we have been already mentioning, is that this high is actually a break to the upside. All right, so this high in here actually managed to break structure on the left side, a really important high. We can actually zoom out a little bit just to see that. All right, so we managed to break this structure, that structure, and maybe there's space for price to go eventually towards this level in here. So that's something that maybe price wants to eventually go there. Something that we also usually pay attention to when you do have a break of such an important structure in the middle, usually price behaves in a way where it's going to fake out the structure that actually managed to break the high, going to kind of take that level, and then it's going to finally continue to move to the upside, because the break of this low is going to again put many people into bias to the downside, because you see the first wall being broken, you see break of structure in here, and they start thinking about short, which price actually made a little bit of another continuation here, but now it just respected exactly the next level, which was basically to look at the sign here. That's basically where price reacted from in here. So it's actually kind of a valid, there's a valid level where dollar index has reacted, and then everything that we are looking for in here is to see how price eventually going to react a little bit. I'm looking a little bit higher. This is a okay level. Basic price already fake out this high, if not mistaken. So that's already taken, if not mistaken. At least for a little bit. There's definitely maybe more space for price to go a little bit higher in there. So that's one thing to pay attention to. I don't like this level still as well, and that price can eventually go. We have this basically compression being created in here. Price now basically respected as well this demand zone, one of the last levels in here that was still valid. Price now respected then the supply, so that's actually a really good reaction, and I'm curious to see what price is going to do. Like, it's nice to see that price is finding this bearishness as price is going to the upside. That's actually something that I like to see eventually to a potential sell at the top, is actually to start noticing that weakness. We have also these moves in here to pay attention to. Now this level in here, which is actually the level that is an alignment a little bit with this previous structure in here, that is still fresh, and that's maybe a level that price eventually can go and react from in here. So yeah, price for example could come back somewhere in here and just continue to push the upside. Right, I wouldn't be surprised, for example, if that would happen from here. Now, is this the high? I don't really think this is the high. I think price can and will push a little bit higher. Now we can actually ask ourselves, is there anything in here that price could still react from? All right, so basically that supply that you can see in here, that's already being respected in there, right? And then maybe this one in here is already basically being taken from here, so we'll see. Now, is there anything a little bit higher that price can still react from? And that's a little bit of the question that you can look for. Again, as you can see, this left shoulder in here already being got spiked with this entry, so that was a valid zone in there where price reacted from. Yeah, that was a nice one. So we'll see what's going to happen from around this level. The price is still going to respect that level, and it could perhaps even fake out slightly that mid high into this level. On the 4-hour time frame, it does look like that maybe there's still that zone in there. Let me actually draw the line on the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, on the 4-hour, it may still look like that's in there. How does it like on 1 minute? Yeah, on 1 minute it may have already been. At least the base of that level has already been taken. So yeah, maybe everything is weak in there, and maybe this was actually the last level that was still valid in here, and maybe price breaking this high then just continues to push a bit more to the upside, which I wouldn't really be surprised if that happens. But yeah, overall in the bigger picture, so yeah, this is one of the levels that I'm looking for. Then I'm going to be curious to see how price may react from around this level in here. All right, so again, I don't really have a specific zone within this high, but somewhere in there I'm going to keep tracking to see if there's any signs, or if price actually just wants to continue to go higher. All right, so that's mostly what I'm going to be looking for at this point on the dollar index. Now moving along, let's start with the US indices. All right, let's take a look at the S&P, and it looks like it's a bit of a potential negative PA price action that we're having here, or bearish price action. Let's call it negative, bearish price action that we may have in here. Let's take my coffee. All right, so we respected the double top, like we talked exactly about that zone, that setup, and it played out. Like on Wednesday, or when you saw these lows all being broken, it actually managed to take those lows as well. It reacted basically from the previous all-time highs. So it was a valid level, but we talked about this zone in here that was still fresh, right? There was something in there at the highs that could still react from, and then it was just about trying to find the PA to look for that, and it happened. And then actually in the second stage, second phase, I was actually even looking for this extra fake out before price pushing down. To be honest, when price created this move and started pushing down, I will really price just fake out this high in here, as you can see, like it fake out only that level, and maybe even one second, and maybe even that one in there. Just where we did respect to this one. One then this one. Yeah, I think it even fake out right with that that high there, and that was basically enough. Okay, apparently it was enough. There was no need to kind of spike a little bit more into this structure. I do think that there is something in there still that price could end up reacting from. The price never really got there, so that's potential for the future as well. But yeah, I was looking for that extra move, a little bit more clear the fake out before push down. Apparently that was enough, and then even retested that supply on the left side, which was actually a nice reaction from here as well. So that was what we talked about on the S&P. It looked like that's exactly what we want to look for when you're trying to trade double tops. We try to see if there's still orders left behind here where it will reacted from, and then try to pay attention to the approach, and then if there's an opportunities on the right side of that move, and then as price keeps respecting that level, then you can start looking for potential trades in the middle to continue to push price down, right? So now, are we going to break these lows in here? That's going to be an interesting part. If we do start managing to break that low in there, we start opening the door for a much further move to the downside. I'm still going to pay attention to somewhere around this level, because this is actually kind of the demand zone that managed to push and break out these highs in here, and I don't think that level has been retested just yet. All right, from this push up and the retracement, price never really got into this level in here, which means that maybe there's some orders in there that price could eventually react from, and then eventually start pushing to the upside if that's the idea in here from the S&P. Otherwise, you can just have a small reaction and then kind of just bounce and continue to push lower. So that's something to keep an eye in here, and it's something that that can happen. Again, at the highs, as I mentioned, maybe there's still that level in here. Then, of course, price can create some kind of mid-range structure again before a potential push to the downside without the need to go even higher. So that's another potential setup in here that we may have on the S&P. So yeah, it's interesting. It did respect those highs. There was no break, and from there and from here we may have who knows if this type of price action is going to be something that it may start or end the year in a negative or a bearish move, and then who knows what's going to happen in 2025, right? Now, if you do pay attention a little bit what happened in 2022, but at the end of the year in 2021, it was something quite, not exactly quite similar, because this is a much stronger structure here that was nicely used as liquidity, but the price action around this level, it was not that different. All right, so it's actually something that we can look for. Yeah, somewhere in here, right? So we have this structure. If you zoom in into here, it's a nice structure in here, a nice reversal setup that we had, right? It's exactly something like that. We have the breakdown, then the fake out, and then price just pushes to the downside, and that was kind of a nice PA in there that we looked for as well back in the day. And yeah, let's see if that doesn't really happen the same style in here. We have some structure already, a fake out in there, we have which price respecting that double top. We'll see if that's not going to happen. And again, if we start breaking below that level, we can start aiming towards this level again, right? You can perhaps start aiming towards somewhere around this level in here, all right? If price does break below that and starts breaking below this structure here, I don't really see that many things holding price, right? Maybe this level is one of them, but aside from that, I don't really see that many things in here still managing to hold price to to the upside. So that's something to bear in mind in here on the S&P, that we may have a bigger move if price actually confirms, breaks below that low, and then below the structure. Yeah, I think we can be open to a much further move to the downside. Then we have these guys, right? And we have Nasdaq, which actually was an interesting one as well, where we had that last kind of fake out. It was not really in there yet, the move in here, so we kind of made a little bit. As you can see in here, we finally have that break to the downside happening in there, and then price just pushed. Yeah, we have the break, quick fake out, again kind of an aggressive move to the downside. There's maybe some kind of trend line going on at around this level on the Nasdaq, and yeah, we do have now this high. It may still go and challenging, but eventually it looks like that price may eventually aim to go towards this level. So that's a level that eventually this Nasdaq can go towards to, and from here perhaps it can continue to push more to the upside. So that's one to pay attention, and maybe that can be an interesting potential opportunity to look for. Looking at the high, something that you can of course look for is that, yeah, it looks like there's a lot of it has been compressed at this point in here. So that high reacted from here, this high already reacted from there. There's maybe a new one being created after this one, which may actually have this left shoulder in here to play with as well. So that's something to pay attention. Maybe that's one of the levels where Nasdaq can even go and eventually react from, if it wants to continue to respect this level. On 1 hour time frame, actually it does look nice. So yeah, that's that looks nice. We'll see now what's going to happen. Again, we need to confirm more breaks of lows in here, but then eventually I think we have this price, and at this point all-time highs and so on. I'm just going to keep playing zone by zone, being aware of the breaks of structure on the indices, and in this case Nasdaq, but then trying to just trade zone by zone. But it's nice, it starts to potentially have this potential setup in here that can lead into a lower in here, whatever it may be. Like, we can start looking for some range like that. Again, in this case, if 5-1, it depends on where actually you potentially look for that setup. But the important part is that you may have this longer or bigger range in here that you can aim for towards this level. But first, we need of course to consider just that low, and then come up a little bit of that one, and then you can start aiming towards to the next one in here. But from this level, we may still have a new high, and here we did manage to break that one, basically to close a little bit of this gap that was created in there. So yeah, potentially continue to push a little bit more to the upside. You already managed to break this low as well, so yeah, we could try to continue to push a bit more. Alright, create some structure in here as well. Then yeah, then perhaps having something like that. We'll see, right? So again, it's just something to bear in mind in here on the Nasdaq. Dow just continues to push lower, and maybe that's the destination here. Maybe going or eventually aiming to go towards a little bit of this level. All right, so that's basically one of the last highs. It was kind of pushing down. Then you have the other one in here, something to bear in mind as well. But overall, we have this previous level support resistance at around the structure, maybe a level there where price wants to eventually react from in there. So pay attention to this one. Let's see what price is going to do at around this structure in here. Now the Dow has been super bearish, and I'm actually starting to be interested in looking for the retrace in here, which can actually lead into this level. Right, so that's actually something that I'll be keeping an eye on, because I could see a reaction, and it's actually not bad. Somewhere around this level, we could see some kind of reaction from somewhere around here. Yeah, so I'll be keeping an eye on that one, then, because price has been so bearish. That is kind of asking a little bit for a retrace, and depending on the PI, maybe that can, again, as I mentioned, that may happen. May happen in there, or then price even pushing a little bit lower. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on this one to see if price start to show some kind of strength as well in here. and then eventually can kind of bounce from here and have some kind of turn from here, or eventually even go and continue to push lower, even take these lows, and all of a sudden start looking for something in there. Yeah, let's keep an eye on this one on the Dow. DAX. Yeah, DAX continues. I like it. I like what I can see in here on the DAX. I didn't really expect much from this level, but I like that price continues to break, but then break new all-time highs. All right, continue bullish, but not really finding the strength to stay there. All right, even managing kind of to break some trend lines in here. We did manage to break now this low, even maybe that one as well. So it's nice, and maybe that's a level for price to react from again and work as a short. I don't like this level that was created. It's kind of a nice structure in here. Price already reacted from that extreme at the highs and then kind of pushed down and then fake out all these highs in here in the middle, created this new level. So that's definitely something to look for. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that's definitely a level on the DAX I will be paying attention to. Again, we did manage to break below. If price does want to react from here, it can, and then eventually we can start aiming for price to go all the way. As much of this moving here, it was already being compressed in there, maybe something in here, and then price can start aiming finally towards that other level that I'm looking for in here. So that's, yep, let it push a little bit higher maybe, and then wait, and then yeah, could something like that happen. And it can even be quite aggressive, maybe already tomorrow with the PMI. That's something to consider as well. Looking at crypto, all right, move on from here. This was kind of something that could have happened, but the price continued to respect the lows, so it didn't really happen in there, and you're looking still for price to potentially get into this level. But crypto, yeah, Bitcoin can perhaps continue, and at this point, by the way price is moving, it looks like that we're going to have new all-time highs. Again, I'm aware of that low. I kind of like what I can see in here as well, but at this point I'm not really going to find any potential reversal in here. I'm just going to let price continue to push and take the all-time highs. I'm actually going to set up an alert in there to be aware of when price eventually is going to go to those levels, and actually do the same in here on the DAX. One of the level I'm looking for. Price does want to get there, I want to be aware of it as well. And Dow, yep, forgot to set up the alerts. One of the reasons we do this analysis is exactly to set up alerts, so I'm pretty sure why I was not doing it. And in here, yeah, I don't really want anything else from here, to be honest. Maybe I already have way too many. Right, so yeah, Bitcoin at this point moving, being quite bullish in here, and compression, and it just continues. Ethereum as well, basically still respecting this level. This for me is kind of an important structure on Ethereum, that if price continues to hold it, then we can continue to look for more room to the upside. And I'll be surprised on Ethereum if you do that. Again, price respected quite nicely that high. I think that we have now a double top in here that is ready to be kind of faked out, so that's something that I'll be paying attention to. Then I'm going to be curious as well to see if prices manage to break below that level or not. That's something to pay attention to. Yeah, something to look for. So not really much going on in here, and this one's just continue to hold it. Right, now Euro Index, that's the one that we've been looking for, and the one that actually played out with the ECB. All right, so we saw a bullish momentum or push the upside on the we saw a push to the upside on the euro after the ECB. Right, price respected actually one of the last levels in here that was still fresh from these lows, and start pushing higher. Initially we were within this range, and now that range basically it was broken. All right, it was broken from here. Price now pushing to the upside, also even managed to break his trend line as well, and it looks like that maybe the euro index is ready to start going and correct from all this bearish move that we have for the last month or so. Right, we had quite a bearish move in here. I'm curious to still to see how price may react at around this level. Basically, decision point that managed to push price down in there. And yes, if price then goes above that level, then you start looking higher. But for now, there's maybe still something in here that you can try to pay attention to, especially because we do have all this liquidity above these highs in here that price can also use a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if you do have some kind of reaction from that zone in there. So that's something also to keep an eye on in here. All right, next, this was actually kind of a nice move in there. Then we have the yen index, right? And the yen index, that's exactly what we mentioned, somewhere around here. I think we had that. Oh no, here actually, when there came out that news that potentially have a new, the BOJ maybe thinking about a new hike this beginning of next year, and you had that initial reaction, spike up, push down, and no surprise with basically anything that we have been looking in here, in the sense that there was not exactly any valid structure at around these levels in here on the yen index, which means that maybe price does just want to continue to push until it gets closer to something in here or even below that. All right, so that's maybe where price eventually is going to be looking for some kind of level of support around this level. All right, and until it actually gets there, it's just going to continue this kind of slow move to the downside. And so that's something that we're going to be looking for in here. That's actually going to be one of the assets that I want to pay attention to, because again, we have been quite bearish in here, as you can see. Maybe we can even look at the weekly. Yeah, good correction in there, and now you're getting into this demand zone. Even though it's kind of at the a little bit middle of the structure, price can definitely still go down, but we may have a potential move in here. Okay, we have already a few highs being broken in here, something that it's important to pay attention to. Just give it this in here. This alerts. So yeah, paying attention to this level, actually like this demand zone. As you can see in here, it is look a potential level that the yen index can react from. Right, so that's definitely something to pay attention. Yen index could continue to move a bit more to downside, and then yes, having that correction, potential target at around this level. Yeah, so that looks good. Something to pay attention and continue to push lower eventually, and they're going to continue to look for. But yes, I'm going to most likely be active on the yen pairs this week, from what I can see in here. Yeah. All right, moving along, let's look at the individual currency pairs. All right, so starting with the euro dollar. We talked about that as well on Thursday. Right, we talked about this one on Thursday, where we mentioned that either price would kind of find some structure around this level. All right, otherwise I could see price eventually just continue and go into the lows. Right, so we're looking for price to go below this structure here and kind of taking out these lows and maybe some reaction from that level, and that's exactly what happened on Friday. All right, so on Friday price kind of ranged a little bit in here in the Asian session, and then you had that reversal and price pushing to the upside. Okay, so it just took out that liquidity below those lows. Good reaction actually from one of the last levels that was still fresh in here, but aside from that, now all of it kind of becomes compressed. We already managed to slightly break that high, and you can start eventually even aiming for this euro dollar to push a little bit more to the upside, and that could lead into the dollar index to move to the downside. But if the euro index is actually now ready to go higher as well, maybe that can be a good indicator as well for the euro dollar. Now on the war time frame, we did manage to take these lows, which may start opening the door for price to go back into this structure in here. All right, so that's maybe a level in here on the euro dollar that you need to pay attention to, that price may wants to visit. All right, so because we did manage to break that level, you could have eventually a retrace back into this zone in here before pushing higher, or maybe price could even do this. Like, even though again that's maybe asking too much for from price, that could be also another possibility. If price just goes higher and respects the demand zone, kind of the supply level, and starts pushing lower, that's going to be different. That maybe the indication that maybe price actually won't end up going even below that level. So that's something to bear in mind in here on the euro dollar. If price does want to kind of complete reverse and get back into this level, yeah, maybe from here you can potentially look for new shorts as well. If price again just wants to continue to go a little bit lower, I'm going to be curious somewhere around this level, and then maybe you can see price moving more into the same direction. Now with the PMI and manufacturing services PMI that we have tomorrow, expect volatility straight away from, again, whenever we have the news at 8:15 and then 30 past, right? So that's basically when you're going to have those news in France and then German. So yeah, pay attention to that. We are going to have volatility straight away tomorrow morning. That's not usual on Mondays, but it's going to be the case for tomorrow. So be aware of that. Be ready to look for. I have maybe 2 levels in here that I could consider as a zone. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see in here on the euro dollar. We'll see. Pound's going to be quite interesting as well, right? So we're going to have basically news every single day on the pound. Service PMI, then unemployment, then CPI, then Bank of England, and it continues to go, right? So it's going to be quite a busy weekend here, and we're going to be paying attention to it. Okay, we did manage to break below that level, so it's been a bit more bearish, the pound comparing with the euro, and I'm curious to see if price eventually is going to get closer to this range in here or not, right? So those flows, that's something that I'll be looking for. All right, so we did manage to kind of break a little bit above that level in here, but now is making all this deep retracement, so that's going to be interesting. All right, so that's going to be an interesting zone in here to pay attention to, see if the pound actually is going to continue to push a bit more to the downside or not. All right, next, euro pound. Like that's another one that we want to pay attention to, because the pound dollar and the euro pound may actually be quite correlated now for this specific week. And we had a huge move, like we had a really strong move that was literally from the ECB, and all of a sudden we start turning bullish. We talked about that when the price was still around this level, that we wanted to see a new push to the downside. Price was ranging for quite a long time in here. Basically everything was compressed, so no surprise that then price is free to just move and pass through all of this. But we're looking for that to take out these lows, all right, take out that liquidity and get a little bit closer into this level. It was a perfect reaction from here, and then we had that move into this last zone here with the news, and then since then price is just moving in one direction in here. All right, so in my opinion it can still go more. All right, I don't really think that price is going to just stop in here. I could see a little bit more to the upside. So if this is about to happen, it means that pound dollar may want to continue to push a little bit lower, and the euro, we'll see. Like if the euro actually is going to fall as well, is going to continue to push higher or not. All right, and that goes maybe into the euro index. That can lead a little bit more to the upside, but it's going to be an important one because again, it's going to be specific news for the UK this week. So this is definitely one asset to pay attention to, and how price may react eventually closer to that zone. That's maybe one of the next levels I'm mostly paying attention to. The price can definitely retrace before continue. Definitely, price doesn't just move in a straight line, so price may find some other levels on the way that perhaps can work and hold price a little bit down before price continues. So that's something also that we can expect. But overall, in the bigger picture, I do think that eventually euro pound does want to get closer to this structure there. Then we have Aussie dollar, which is also another one that has been quite bearish. Again, I really like that reaction from here. Then you can even go slightly lower. We have been looking for that potential reversal in here on the Aussie dollar. We had that initial push up. Price kind of reacted from, I think it was a valid level. Yeah, even on the 4-hour time frame, even daily, I think as well. So even though we did have a little bit of a correction to the upside, as you can see on the daily time frame, the candles continue to show bearishness. At least they continue to print bearish candles. I'm curious in here. To be honest, I do like this level. I wouldn't mind. I like that actually price managed to break to the upside in here. We could have a little bit of something like this happening and price showing some momentum. We did manage to break above that structure as well. So overall, I'm not against actually where this Aussie dollar about the shape of the Aussie dollar at this point of the price action that we have seen in here. All right, so I would like it a little bit lower. That price maybe go a little bit lower, so they did already fake out these lows in here, but yeah, make it a little bit lower at least, and then you'll see how price may react from here to see if there's going to be more bullishness, or if price actually just wants to continue to push a little bit lower into maybe the next level in there. So that's something to look for or to look at in here on the Aussie dollar, to be honest. Yeah, and then we have Euro Aussie, which is just within the range, right? It's just within the range. Taking advantage of the strength on the Euro, again, kind of that bearishness on the Aussie, which kind of pushed a little bit more. So yeah, that's basically what we have in here on the Euro Aussie. Yeah, curious to see how price may react from here, and then eventually can even go there. The reality is that we never really managed to break a low in here. If that wants to go higher, maybe Aussie wants to go lower, we'll see. The pound Aussie, that's another one that we have. Price actually moving to the downside. In here, so that's another one to keep an eye on. And I'm okay with something in here. To be honest, I like especially those highs in there. Pay attention to. So that's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, but eventually it could continue to push higher. And then we have New Zealand, which just continues in this bearishness, right? So New Zealand, we kind of looked a little bit for a potential reaction, and price kind of did that move. But now I think it's going to continue to push a little bit lower, and they are looking for price to get closer to something in here. All right, so that's something to continue to look for. Have some alerts in here to just to track and to see what eventually New Zealand can do. Yeah, something like that could potentially happen. We'll see. I like that you start having some highs being broken. Aussie yen turning as well, so that goes also in alignment with the yen pairs in here. So yeah, that was kind of a nice turn, and potentially can continue to push higher. So that's something to keep an eye on at this point. Dollar yen continues also to push higher, and as yen index may continue to go slightly lower, maybe this one can continue as well. And from here, a lot has been compressed. We kind of talked about that as well. So much of these zones in here have been compressed. It's actually one of the last levels in there that is still fresh. Price already reacted from it, and above that, price can even go all the way to take these lows in here as well, where it is high. So that's something to pay attention. All right. Yeah, definitely to keep an eye on. And as price continues to push higher, then eventually price can have some kind of correction. But it could go all the way through until it actually challenged that high, and from there maybe can have push more to the downside. You did manage to break below that level. This for me is kind of a break in this compression. I think eventually this dollar yen can add into a potential good short opportunity. So that's definitely one that I'm going to be tracking, and maybe that's going to happen just on Thursday on the BOJ. So we'll see. Euro yen also continue to push higher in here, so no surprise with that as well. This price starts to approach a bit more closer to that zone in there, so that's another one that you want to keep an eye on to see eventually if there is signs of potential reversal in here. Again, it's one that is being quite bullish, and yeah, maybe from here there's some reaction to expect here from within these highs, maybe. All right, nice one. Next, pound yen. Yeah, pound yen has been a bit more bearish. As we know, pound has been a bit more bearish, but still respecting this structure here. And I don't really think that this high is still kind of the last level. Eventually, with the yen index moving to the upside, this can also go like that. And eventually, when pound turns, maybe this one can also continue to push higher in here. If it wants to go lower, yeah, somewhere in here. Now, we did manage to break below that level, so eventually that could lead into a turn. Now, price is reacting from this one, perfect, but eventually could even go higher into the next one in there. We'll see. At the end, yeah, turning, so moving a bit more to the upside. Alright, very cool. Then dollar CAD, like dollar CAD just continues to push higher, and eventually it can go all the way, right? It can go all the way to challenge this double top, and all of a sudden it can challenge a little bit more of the something on the left. Because at this point, basically what you have is basically price reacting from this level, and of course can even go higher from here, right? And price kept actually respecting this zone, never really managed to break it, so there's no proper break when you kind of manage to break below that level. The structure is this one. Eventually dollar CAD can indeed take out this level, and from there having some kind of reaction, but for now a little bit more into the lower time frame, there's maybe some other zones in here that price can still have some kind of reaction, so those are some that we need to keep an eye on. All right, you need to pay attention to them. So yeah, continues to respect, so that's something that I'll be looking for in here. Yeah, continue to show yeah, ready to go a little bit higher, maybe need to start having a little bit of this range, so potentially could start looking for some levels in here to reverse, something to keep an eye on. We have the other CAD pairs, and we have Euro CAD, which this was a nice one as well. In my opinion, it's still kind of in the middle. I think price does want to get a little bit closer to that zone, so I'll not really commit that much into a short. The initial short in here was actually quite good. Price did manage to break below that low, and it already reacted from here, but still respecting the next low. So this is going to be interesting to keep an eye on. But eventually, I do think that this potential Euro CAD does want to potentially get a little bit closer into the next structure, even though of course it can still kind of react from within this zone as well. So yeah, we'll see. Next, we are going to be looking at pound CAD, which also, yeah, this was another one that we talked about, potential reaction from somewhere around this level. Price was compressing quite a lot, and the turn happened this week, right? So that was actually a strong move in here. It was with the news, some kind of catalysts that happened around this level. I think initially it was the interest rate decision in Canada, and then kind of the day after, kind of later on, it was another news, and price just pushed down. Yeah, now it was CPI in the US, and then Bank of Canada interest rate decision. It was good. We were looking for that. This size never reacted from it, so we were looking eventually for price to get closer to that zone. The compression was there. We started already seeing some lows being broken, and all of a sudden price just pushed downside. So that was a nice one. And now we are looking potentially for price to get a little bit closer to this level. Again, it's another pound pair that is actually more bearish, looking or comparing with the euro, which is interesting, and that may continue. All right, it may continue a little bit more of a negative pound in here until maybe the euro pound actually gets into the other level. But for now, of course, we can pay attention to see how price may react from here. Yeah, but nice move. And then dollar franc Swiss, again another rate cut. It was even higher than expected, 50 basis points from 1 to 0.5, and price just continues this bullish move. Curious to see how price may react from that level. That's how they reacted a little bit from here, kind of still respecting it. And I would like to see, I think price actually respected a really nice level in here, and from here it can actually continue to push higher, pick out these lows, but just can continue to push more to the upside and potentially getting in even into something there, so something else in there. So price reacts from here, that's maybe that one, that's even that one, and then price can even continue to go even higher. But yeah, just a few levels to pay attention that this dollar franc Swiss can eventually react from, inclusive into this one as well in here. So that's what eventually I'm expecting here on the dollar franc Swiss. Gold, what a move, right? So we came all the way up just to fake out that high and then push downside. Like the reaction was really good from that level. In my opinion, it was actually still fresh. This high never really reacted from it, and now we had that move pushing down, and now kind of looking for price to get maybe somewhere in here, or eventually can even go all the way, because in my opinion this low may actually have been already a break into that structure, and you may continue to eventually push, and gold can even get into something in here. All right, so that could even happen. But you may pay attention first to one of these level in here, or yeah, we'll see. I'm not the biggest fan of whatever is going on in here, so I could see eventually price taking out this structure before pushing properly more to the upside. But before that, we may have something at around this level that that could hold price. It does look a bit bearish in here. Yeah, so gold may continue a bit more. We have also silver, which also can continue to push forward, to be honest. Kind of need manage to break that low, and there's a nice pick out into that structure. We'll see if there's anything in here that they want us to respect, push higher, or this kind of just a retracement for a continuation to the downside. Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Then you have oil, which, yeah, what a move, right? So we looked as well for that for those longs. We talked about that one kind of 2 weeks ago, or since the beginning of the last week, to be honest. And oil has been just pushing higher. We did have that this is a great move after breaking an important high, just comes all the way back to respect to the mid zone and continues to push the upside, and we are looking for oil potentially to get all the way into there. All right, so we are now retesting this 71.44, and potentially can even go higher. Can definitely still go higher. This was a great reaction from this lows, kind of getting a good double bottom in here, and eventually could definitely continue to push a bit more to the upside. Yeah, Brent more or less here could still have some kind of reaction, but then it can continue also to go higher. Yeah, and that could happen. That could be the play here on oil. Of course, oil has been more in this range, in which eventually we can find some resistance at around this level, even though these highs were already taken. So any chance of oil does want to even go higher, it could. In terms of price action, I could see that happening. Now this almost compressed, with eventual price going all the way into, first of all, we're testing this 72-73 mark, and then even going higher than that. That could happen, all right? Because this is kind of a nice accumulation phase in here on oil from all this 66 mark, which eventually could push a bit more to the upside from where we are. There a chance for price to go push a bit more forward again? Maybe, and maybe that could be a turn into a new range in here. So yeah, with that being said, what are we going to be looking for this week? Right? And it's going to be super volatile, many news that's going to affect the market, from FOMC to the Fed. We're going to have Bank of England, Bank of Japan. We're going to have plenty of news in the UK with unemployment, CPI, retail sales, GDP in the US, CPI in the US on Friday. So it's basically the last week of the year in terms of proper activity in trading, and it's going to be for one. So stay alert. Whatever predictions we are making in here in terms of looking potentially for the dollar to retest or kind of to respect that double top, that can be something that we're going to be looking at, and that could lead into more shorts and potentially reversals and longs on the euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on. We have the US indices as well. Interesting move. It's not S&P quite bearish, respecting that double top. Dow has been bearish for longer, so eventually I'm going to start actually looking for some potential longs. And the Nasdaq still a bit indecisive to see if actually this high is going to hold, or price is going to also get into a bearish mode. And DAX looks nice as well for a potential short as well at the highs. And then what else? Dollar CAD continue to push higher. Maybe he wants to go all the way to take those double tops that you mentioned, so may continue to go a little bit more to the upside, but for sure there's going to be some trades to look for some retracements before maybe price continue to go higher. The yen pairs quite interesting with the BOJ as well on Thursday. I think we can continue to see a little bit more of bearishness on yen index, which means bullishness on the individual yen pairs, until eventually going to find those reversals, or at least some kind of retracement. So that's something that I'll be paying attention to as well this week. And yeah, and that's mostly it. That being said, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll speak again tomorrow for the pre-market analysis. Let me know if you're getting value and what opportunities are you looking for in the market for this last week. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Obrigado.